Alright, welcome back to another edition of Hearthstone Power. Today we're going to show you in the Year of the Raven how to get free arena runs with an Elemental Mage deck that we drafted. I'm going to show you some different classes, but here we're going to show you Mage. And as long as we get about 7 or more wins, we're going to get good enough rewards to where we can get some free and start building our cards and dust and gold. So here we get an early pick to where we're going to go with Elemental because that's just the best mage synergy right now. Dust Speaker's a great card. Fungalmancer's a great card. Boom, legendary. Antonidas could be involved, but we got to go with Pyros here. Need some bigger cards. Need some smaller cards. Like adding, mage spells to our hands, but Firefly could have been a pick there too. There's another elemental. Mossy Horror's got a good enough effect to where we're going to do that. We're not focused on spell reduction so much. Explosive Runes is a great card. We'll talk about that once we get into gameplay a little more. And the Spellstone goes great with elementals. Jungle Panther's just got a lot of clear. Bone Drake's going to add a card. Scorpomatic's going to help with cards like Doomsayer and Totems and stuff like that. Here I like Rotten Apple Bomb. It's just a well-rounded card. Now we need more beef, so we gotta make sure and get some late game cards too. Poison's always gonna help out. And we got some more elemental synergy. Meteor is just too good to pass up. Artificer, we got another elemental there. And Necrotogeist maybe we could have gone with, but it's not too zooey, this deck, and we're just gonna start. We get lucky and get a good bit of elementals to draft. And Primordial Glyph is just such a great card. We're gonna need that. Try and find some board clear because we didn't get too much in that line. Get another elemental. Cursed Disciple's fine. Glyph could be a blizzard, so we'll just go for another Glyph. And yeah, so we're going to get a few wins here and show you that you can get 150 gold back in a pack and some dust and just, get those rewards up and show you guys how to draft and how to play, as well as you can in the arena. So here, Water Elemental is just on the edge of being able to keep, so we'll just go ahead and muck it. It's kind of indecisive. Got to get something that we can play lower, especially against Shaman with the coin. So he coins out Primal Fin, and that's just looking like a great early Scorpomatic target. You gotta look for cards with removal, not just spells, but Scorpomatic's a great card. And it's a mech. So we could have maybe waited for Flame Tongue too for it, but here, Demolisher can do work early on, especially because he can't attack it here unless he had some sort of charge or rush. And if we hit it with our 2 random damage, then, or either of these minions, we'd be much better off, but we don't. So we kind of just have to play Water Elemental to hopefully deal with Flame Tongue. Or maybe he leaves our Demolisher. We're going to assign damage. Always assign damage on a target because you don't know when later on you might be able to kill it, which is going to actually happen for us here. We'll eventually get it with Pyros, and if we wouldn't have assigned the damage to it, then we wouldn't have been able to kill it when we do. And they're obviously not going to lead into his Poison Taunt. We're going to hope he keeps misplaying. Even though he's got a nice card back, but he's not a gold hero, and he shows here sometimes where he can make bad plays. And we're going to try and help you guys avoid that at Hearthstone Power. It's a little bit about the draft and picking the right heroes. We'll rank them, for you guys on the website and show you which ones we like in the Year of the Raven per each set. Right now, Mage has always been up there because the basic spells are so powerful and you have such a high chance of getting the basic spells along with, the newer spells. But here he's going to not clear his minion and play a minion, but I guess it's barred to where he can keep it alive, but just to ping, so... So we got some option. Since we need to go ping, we're just going to play the Apple Bomb. Not really going to heal us up too much, but go ahead and protect our taunt there and get a Pyros to play. I think a couple times in this run you'll see me get the Pyros up to 10-10, and that's where I feel like it was better than Antonidas Antonidas is such a great card, but in the arena it might not be as great, especially because we didn't start off with a lot of spell synergies in our deck. So he gives us a treasure chest from Marin, which we're going to make harder for him to kill. Gives me an extra little Fungomancer target. Explosive Runes. So this card, I think, has a glitch involved into it. So once a Divine Shield minion is played, I feel like all 6 damage should be dealt to the Divine Shield. But somehow it does some strange math and says, okay, well, how much health does it have? But if I let in with a 10-10 Pyros to Divine Shield, it wouldn't say, okay, well, how much health does it have? It would just absorb all the damage. We'll talk about that later. But also, this Unstable Evolution is another card that's got better in Witchwood, where you have Rush now. So you can Rush, get some damage off, and then go ahead and keep on evolving. So you always had Charge, but the Rush element makes Unstable Evolution even better. Which is a great card in the arena, because you can, when you don't have a great turn, you can just use a ton of mana. So we're going to teach you how to play with our decks, but we're also going to look at the opponents and show you how not to play. So there we see Explosive Runes, not showing it in the Divine Shield case, but showing you how it's definitely going to help you stay, not fall too far behind. I like Mana Bind against a Shaman for sure. They've got some great spells, and we'll show you. He makes some terrible plays. Even there, he doesn't sign more damage to the treasure chest, which would have probably helped him. But with our Wind Fury Elemental, we're just going to clear board because of, the spells that he plays right here. Bloodlust. Without a minion that can even attack, gives us a 0-cost Bloodlust. I don't know what he was thinking there. Obviously, I think he had just kind of given up. But I didn't quite have lethal until he played that card, so. Yeah, once he sees the Wind Fury, he shows us that it was a mistake, and we'll certainly highlight mistakes that they play. Show you how not to play, but more so show you how to draft and how to play with Mage. I'm going to show you some of the cards here, so just look over to the right and you'll get a feel for our deck. Let me know if you'd like me to play with a deck tracker, but I don't think it's necessary. A lot of people, it's an extra, reliance, and I feel like once I draft, I pretty much know most of the cards in my deck. Yeah, so here we get a Rogue, and Rogue is going to be the bane of this arena run. If we didn't face any Rogues, we probably would have shown y'all a much more successful arena run, but we do get up to the threshold of, where the pro players are at, getting about 7 or 8 wins on average, 7 to 9 on average, and obviously if you do any better than that, then it's a home run. But if you can just get up to winning about, a 66% win rate, get 2 wins and 1 loss, or above, a little bit above that, then we'll fix the canvas here too. This was a little while ago when I started this one, where I still didn't have it quite correct, where you can see my hand and my mana perfectly, but in part 2 of this one, we broke it up into 2 30-minute sections. You'll see the cards a lot better. Yeah, so Igneous Elemental, we're gonna want to save our Flame Elementals to activate cards such as Steam Surger and the 5/5 that draws a card. All sorts of, anything that needs activation. You don't have to throw out your cards early on. Maybe I could have. I don't love that polymorph play there, so maybe I could have waited for something a bit more strong. So he just gets it right compared to us getting it wrong in this one. You know, sometimes your opponent's going to have all the right cards against you, and you're not going to win them all. I don't see too many people going 12-0. So there you see the Death Speaker. The immune is such a good one because you can prevent the damage on your minion. It works well with our Giant Wasp to, you know, just poison somebody and leave it around, and hopefully they don't have a spell to remove it. But you know, Rogue's a tough class, but once you get good at it, it does have some very powerful spells and minions such as Vile Spine. I mean, Vile Spine and Cold Blood and combo effects that are very hard to overcome in the arena. So we've got quite a bit of... We got our Spellstone, and we got plenty of Flame Elementals. You're going to see that, you know, some people find the Spellstone tough, and this one maybe I could have gone after a different minion, but didn't have quite enough mana to ping off the taunt, and then it would have been a lot easier for me to figure this one out. But again, the Rogue gets it right against us, and you know, sometimes you draw. You know, we had a good curve in this. When you're drafting, you really want to pay attention to your curve and just try and get one cost. Here, you know, Artificer isn't really Arcane Artificer isn't really a one cost minion. You want to save it for late and try and actually gain armor from it. You see, this guy's a good player. He does a good job. He assigns the damage, and so at this point we're gonna have to try and find something. We want something to clear the board. We could have kept going maybe on Glyph, but this is enough to clear off the other minions and give us a little bit of breathing room. There, maybe you want to assign the damage on the Nesting Rock because he can, but he gets Rush, and you know, it comes and goes. You know, you might think you're behind, but you can always pull some of these out of the flames at the end. You know, you feel like you might get behind, but don't give up. Here we top deck some activation. That's going to be enough to clear off that one minion, but you're also going to play against the amount of cards in their hand. If we didn't burn that meteor, I feel like maybe we had a better chance at this one, but we've already played an elemental, so let's just save our flame elemental to activate later if we need it. We're little 1-2 isn't going to do much here when we both have almost a full mana register. He's got the Frost Elemental too, so you can see that card's definitely playable in the arena for sure. Freeze can help you turn it around. So yeah, if Mastodon would have hit more, we'd have been okay. But that's why it's hard to play against Rogue. You never know when they're gonna have the removal. And he draws a card here, and you think he might top deck it, but I think he already had Assassinate, so it was enough to do us in. Yeah, you can tell from where they play. You know, sometimes it's good to know where the position of cards are in their hand. And even with 0 mana, he's still able to clear off the minion I need to get past his bigger taunts. And right here, we would have had more of a chance with the meteor in hand. So we're not looking good in this one, but as you'll find out in this run, I struggle against Rogue, so maybe if you feel like you're an okay Rogue player, then it'll work out for you, and Rogue has a lot of good cards. But you can see his health was a little low, so if I would have got better on the Primordial Glyphs, which I'll show you later, and maybe you could get lucky and just get a Pyroblast and finish him off. So like I said, always look for lethal, and don't just, toy around in the arena. If you want to have fun, I'm all for it, but if you're looking for wins, then just take lethal when you can. But he does a good job of clearing off our powerful minions, so we're never able to clear his board. Oh, here we don't really have much of a play. But after we get this loss in, I think then we start getting a few more wins. I also think they do a bit of a ranking algorithm, so in the beginning you never know what you'll get, but in the end you'll definitely start playing some more powerful players. So 1-1, it starts off, you never know when you're going to get your losses in, but you just want to try and win 2 games or maybe 3 games for every loss, 2 to 3 games per loss, and you're going to be there to where you can just do arena runs to build up your collection by not losing. You could use the same 150 gold over and over. I mean, sometimes they will give you the dust, but I feel like you'll still get close to 150 gold, and you're going to get the newest pack and, some dust, or maybe like a card. And, just pay attention to the cards I muck there, and just try and, obviously bring your mana curve down in the beginning. This guy's a gold paladin, so I don't think he's terrible. Luckily we don't lose the board too early from some type of call to arms out here or anything, but he just hero powers and we follow suit. We're just trying to play reactive here. Yeah, so look at part 2 and you'll I finally got the canvas correct there too, so if you're having trouble seeing my cards, you'll get a better feel in the second half of this one. But yeah, let's talk about some other things like the explosive runes, like I said, how it should hit more onto the Divine Shield. So there's some cards where you have to kind of discover how they play. Here we got some activation, and that's why I like the Igneous Elemental too. I mean, Flame Elementals aren't super powerful, not like we're playing Quest Rogue or anything, but they are good to kind of maintain the board. And so just always think in your head when we're playing Elemental Mage, it's like, did we play an Elemental? Igneous Elemental is one. So we can end turn here, or we can say, I'm going to get the 2. So then I want to look at my card count and say, if he manages to kill Igneous Elemental, am I going to burn a card? Which is a no. I have 7. So we don't need to play Flame Elemental, but we do some card control. So he would be able to kill Igneous here. That's where he should. I don't know if he does, but so that's what I'm saying. We're worried about the card count. Don't lock your own hand with elementals. But we're not able to activate. Sometimes it's better just to hero power than to activate, because right now we don't have anything dependent on it. You don't know when you're gonna get it in your hand, but so yeah, I'm thinking Frozen Crusher because it's a good card, and I think about it here, and it looks best against the freezing isn't gonna work. I don't have enough to deal with it, so I need a little bit more attack, so I like Frozen Crusher more. Which is an elemental, so just always think, there's a few checks off your list. He gets it there, though, so it's, I changed plans, so the plan was just attack in, but now we got a new plan. It's called Meteor. Which, that's a good removal card. I'm sure we've seen it a bit now in Constructed, and here we're going to get the Mossy Horror off, which has been hiding over there, which destroys all, which helps us again. So we get some good plays against the lower cost minions, and that's just the plan with most paladins or most decks in the arenas, that they're going to try and build up a mob type board to defeat you. So obviously with Mage we want to try and get as much removal. We get some different ones here, some new ones from Witchwood, and he doesn't do too well with his Spellstone, but he's able to at least Humility a 2-attack minion. I would not recommend that. I mean, Humility, the 2-attack minion, just isn't strong enough. Because I still have ping. I mean, I know it forces me to use some mana here, but this is a better time. And even though we have the elemental, we play 2 there, we do want to just be able to kind of attack his silver hands as he makes them. You would think that most of these guys are trying to build up a silver hand army and level up or something like that. Yeah, so he did there. So he's got to adapt the silver hands for the 1/1s, and so we're just gonna glyph, and we see here Blizzard's gonna be able to clear his board pretty effectively. So we have a bunch of. I mean, see how I leave my minions alive. I lead in with the ones that aren't gonna die, and activate again just in case. You know, you can work against structure of where you play your cards. I mean, it doesn't really matter against Paladin. He's only going to have, like, Consecration. But it's always a good idea to get in the habit of playing cards to where they're, you know, in the right position on the board. So there we pick blindly Polymorph. I'm going to show you how that's just usually the right play because, well, we saw it earlier. What card did we see? It was Spike Ridge Steed. That's one what led us to, right? So you can start to think, hey, this guy picked this card once. He probably likes it. I mean, I'd pick 2 Spike Ridge Steeds. I don't know. I'd pick more than that. And this is how powerful a play Polymorph is. He instantly concedes. But, you know, he's all nice. Everyone's nice about it. You know, we try and encourage a nice play out there on the ladder. So this is the last game where the canvas is messed up, and it's, I believe, the last game for this part, so you'll check out part 2 for how we finish, and you'll get to see my hand much better. But, you know, Death Speaker obviously is not a 3-play, right? It's got to be used with something, and you want to play it on something like that, like the Giant Mastodon, which we do in this game. Just a little spoiler alert. Yeah, you can see that the rogue got it right against us. But every other class we do pretty well against, so I guess as we go along showing you guys more of which classes and how to get wins in the arena, but we also want to show you, how to play with each class. So we just want to teach you how to play here at Hearthstone Power, not so focused on just playing the same net decks. You can go and figure that out on a different site. But just come here for teaching. So he plays Dire Maul, so I guess we're feeling like it could be a Beast Druid deck. And so that's why we play Runes. We don't want to get too far behind, and early on it's not as valuable, but you're probably going to kill the minion that you so we want to win the board. We don't want to lose the board early, so I would normally say hang on to your activation, but we know we want to go in with a Storm, the Steam Surger here, and which is going to give us the card to get another Flame Elemental. So I guess we got Firefly and Igneous and that, so we have the possibility to get at least 4 or 5 Flame Elementals in this deck, which is going to help out. That card with it gains +1/+1 when your hero attacks. That's a good one for old Druid. I like that idea. So maybe that'll be a synergy we'll show you guys, but I don't know about that. So here we're just gonna assign the damage to that guy, and he's gonna be able to bring it up to a 5/5. So actually here we wait and see. I don't know why he would go to Fungal Mancer there. He kind of acted like it, and so he likes that card. He's protecting it, put Taunt in front. But if you recognize here that Lord of the Arena is going to trade either way if it goes up 1, and he's gonna have a tough time attacking first. He doesn't want to take 6 just to 1-up it, so he's more than likely just gonna trade it in. So as long as you recognize a card that'll trade to a card, you're okay. That's a pretty good top deck. We know we're gonna have to ping off the Divine Shield. So you can, figure out your route of play and do it early. Don't wait forever, it's just, we're able to gain 6 armor. That's why Artificer isn't really a 1 play. That's why you'll see me muck it most of the time, but sometimes, you'd rather have the board, like I say, and just get it out there, and you're not going to get it off for much. But this turn for Harry Chen over here is pretty amazing. I mean, he gets the give your taunt minions +2/+2 off pretty well. And like I said, you want to save the Death Speaker for this exact moment right here and say, okay, we got just enough to clear off another taunt, so we're going to go for it. And then we know that he'd have to lead in with most of his taunts and minions just to clear off the Giant Mastodon. And then, barring something else, we don't know. He could Bone Mare and, wouldn't look as good. But he's looking for something with Nourish, but I don't think he finds it because he ends up sacking a bunch of minions here. And, he's definitely got the card count on us, so sometimes you can tell, like, I feel like I'm going to win because this guy doesn't have many cards, but yeah, he goes for board clear too, which is going to allow us to get past his taunt, and so that 6/2 has such a high attack that we don't want to play anything like the 8/8 that's going to trade here, so we just want to play the smaller cards that are going to trade to it and let him choose. Say, any of these I'm not afraid to lose to your 6/2. He goes for the Kobold Monk, which is the right play, but so we gotta we could have gone this turn on activating, but we know we played 1 elemental, so we think, hey, maybe if I get 1 more elemental, and I know I can play my 2 flame elementals and fully upgrade to the greatest spellstone, which, that's a synergy we obviously planned on when we drafted it. And just recognize that 2 spells is good, but 3 spells is great. And we assign damage to it, but it's still got plenty more health. So let's just polymorph and get that Sleeping Dragon out of there. Yeah, it can't be targeted. It's good against Mage. He doesn't do too well. We'd want to see all that go into face, and here he trades his poison to a 2/2 Pyros. Again, I wouldn't recommend that play either. And just ping off that minion, and he's going to struggle to kill the 8/8. That's a new card that we haven't seen much from. Oh, it looks like he got a swipe. Solid card. He thinks he can pull this thing off with Volcanosaur here late, but we got good synergies at the end with Pyros, and we assigned the damage there to make it a 6/6, so it'll trade against Pyros. But he's not interested in trading now. But maybe he should have, because there you see, if he trades, I can't get. I guess I could ping off taunt. So again, explosive runes. It says deal damage to the minion until it dies, basically, which I don't see why it doesn't work for Divine Shield. I think all the damage should go to it for Divine Shield, and there's just some sort of I like bringing them down to 10. You never know when you're going to be able to Primordial Glyph and get a Pyroblast to win the game. So here he's run out of cards. Explosive runes. That probably would have helped him, and he would have felt better about not dying. But he doesn't do the math so good. What's he gonna do against a 10/10 Pyros? So if you can get your Pyros 10/10, or we're not all gonna have the same drafts, but there's another elemental that doesn't start in our deck, so there's more elementals activation. That's why Pyros is a great card. We really like it. And here we're going to see I can get 10 to his face if we just Flame Strike. I guess, he did have me down there a little bit, but we just had enough to finish him in. And go check out part 2 like, comment, and subscribe, and see how we finish this thing.